Okay, we are live. Good morning, everyone. It is the June 3rd, 10:30 a.m. Urban Economic Development Committee meeting. I am Councilor Ballas chairing this meeting. First item on the agenda, I call this meeting to order. Other quick note is item 6 has been pulled, so if you're here to report on that, better luck next time. All right, we are on item 2. Dr. Tamika Rogers, reappointment to the Human Rights Commission. Term expires July 1st, 2028 from Council District 7. If you want to come up to the table. Good morning.
Oh, yeah, sit in this chair. It's perfect. Sure. I'm just kidding. Don't sit in this chair.
Oh, is that the bad chair? That was up
It's not a good one.
Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah, that was a close call, my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being here. If you wouldn't mind telling us a bit about yourself and your experience serving and why you'd like to continue serving.
Hi, y'all. I'm Dr. Tamika Rogers, history maker and barrier breaker. I am a Navy veteran, an educator, and also a documentarian filmmaker. I serve because I enjoy the Human Rights Committee and the progress that we've done so far. I believe this is my second year, and right now what we are working on is how to make it easier for people to actually use the complaint thing. Our system is very antiquated, and we're trying to make it easier for them to have people to have access. And my job at Tulsa Tech also is the Director of Student Access and Success. So access is a big deal for me personally too. And also we are working on getting more people on the commissions, especially in the underrepresented areas. And how that process looks, and not just about how the process looks, but actually being able to recruit them and being within the community. And I believe we sent out emails about that to everyone.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is more of actually doing the work and getting the work done and seeing progress. And like the first year I was on there, they said, well, we've been working on this for a while. And I'm like, well, it's time to see the progress and actually do the work. And so we're meeting with, me and the chair, we're meeting with all of our Human Rights Committee members one-on-one. Like 30 minutes throughout, you know, and seeing their goals and pulling those all together, because one meeting a month for the time period we have, it just doesn't lend to get action done. And so we're doing those things. And so I think that we can continue building on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Councilor Bengal?
I think you and I corresponded.
We did. We
And as soon
corresponded.
as you said you were a Navy vet, it triggered my memory. So obviously, thank you for your service on that front. Have you gotten any traction on that issue?
Yeah, the bill that
Yes.
yes, so it made it to the bill that he's talking about is what I was trying to do is, so to make a long story short, educators that are veterans, to buy back their retirement time. So we have a stipulation in the retirement where they could buy back their time. I think I probably emailed all of y'all. But what happens is they're charging the veterans at the rate of their current salary in the education system versus what they made while they were in the Navy. So for example, while I was in the Navy for 5 years, I got paid a total for 5 years, $40,000, right? And so now they're trying to go off my current salary and then charge me $147,000 to buy back 5 years. That goes towards my retirement. Now, when a teacher leaves the retirement system and comes back in and wants to buy their time back, they get to purchase it at that cost of the time. And so we're just asking for that same benefit. So it made it to committee. Senator Goodwin pushed it through for me, made all the changes and all that kind of things. It made it to the committee, but they approved it but striked the title, which is a game where you have to go and do the things that they want you to do, but they knew it was impossible to do. So we're going to try it again next year.
Well, anything I can do to help lend support with that, please stay in contact with me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your support.
Because I we need to do everything we can for veterans that make those transitions.
Yeah, and even educators, just looking at, I mean, it was like thousands of emergency certifications.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're number 50 in education,
Yeah.
and you need that veteran that's disciplined and believe in getting the job done. And everybody wants to say thank you for your service, but nobody wants to do a real
Actual
thank you
thanks.
for your
Yeah.
service.
Right.
And we're not asking,
Federal government.
right, and we're not asking
Yeah.
for a handout, we're still asking to purchase
Yeah.
our time back,
Yeah.
but at a fair rate.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Counselor Gilbert?
Yeah, thank you for your service also.
Thank you.
You mentioned something at the very beginning that sparked my attention on the Human Rights Commission about
The access to-
the complaint and how antiquated the system is. Can you go a little bit more into that because,
Yeah, you have to file with the clerk, that's
Yeah.
the real problem.
right, so, hold on, right. So
Sorry. My human rights experience.
We had worked with city legal a year ago or so about changing the system also and making 311 accessible to complaints, is that?
Well, to strike that requirement that you file with the clerk.
Yeah, the
Right.
311 part.
Right, so there's
years
already a process in place. I would love to work with you to get that to the finish line because we already have a draft.
Okay, that would
So,
be great.
yeah.
Because we met and when we met with it was chairs and the vice chairs and we all met and the mayor was there and we were discussing it and then they had like referred us to Black Tech Street to do some of the legwork of that, but it would be great to,
Yeah,
so we
Yeah.
don't duplicate anything and make sure.
Yeah,
Right.
Which,
Right.
Chairs and vice chairs of
the commission.
Commissioners.
Oh,
Which
the
I'll
commission.
also voice
Of
just,
all of the Title V
just
commissions?
Yeah.
human,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
All of them.
which I'll voice one of the things, just to add to layer about the tech part on the back end.
sure.
So I chaired the Human Rights Commission, it's been a number of years, but what we had run into and the reason it ended up on 311, which has its own access issues separate from the complaint filing, is because I kept going, can't we do some kind of secure Google form or something like that? And we were told due to like certain internal controls, it couldn't be like an external tech solution.
Right.
Which I know is a challenge if like you all are going an external tech route. So I wasn't sure about the legal implications there,
Yeah.
just to add that layer.
But, yeah, so I would love to work with you to
Yes,
get that
ma'am.
to the finish line. And also, I just appreciate you wanting to continue to serve, so thank you very much.
Thank you,
Councilor
And thank you for the work that you do at Tulsa Tech, too. It's a
Yeah.
great institution.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Councilor Harper.
So are you saying that the complaint process will be the same for human rights violations? Because that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Complaining of the public complaints about human
It
rights
would give-
violations versus
right.
311, which is
Well,
code
it
enforcement.
would strike going to the
Clerk.
clerk's office, so where individuals would have to walk into the building, go to the clerk's office, have it stamped. So it would be more, I mean, it would be,
Process.
yes,
Okay.
it would be,
But those are, because what they're gonna be complaining on is probably a lot of more confidential information and stuff versus code enforcement.
right,
How-
Right.
Okay, so you're just talking about the process, not the information, because I would think
Having
that
to
there's.
go
Yeah.
to the clerk itself instead of.
Yeah, just having to
It's
go
just
online.
really sticky, especially because a lot of times it's ADA
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we were saying.
LGBTQ, I mean, all
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
issues.
it
Yeah.
gives,
Human rights.
right, and it could give the complaintee anonymity instead of having to walk in and be known and shown, so.
And just the convenience of it.
Right.
You know, it makes it
Oh,
harder to
100%,
file.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
It's not always fun driving downtown
No,
to
in the
go
parking.
through
Yeah,
that,
the-
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't
To
have
go
a
through
lot
that
of
process.
fun right here.
You're already stressed because you're
Yeah.
a little anxious about making that complaint. And so, this would just make it a lot easier,
The
so.
transportation factor is
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I don't, which I do want to, this is something I always mention when people are coming through usually from like Title V commissions, because I know sometimes per your point, structurally Title V commissions, if you're meeting monthly, it's hard to get a lot of work done, everyone's a volunteer, it's hard to be more than like reactive to ongoing community issues. And so that can then make it so it's like you're waiting for the whole commission to make a move on something, but like with what you just mentioned and like, you know, I remember like it's been, the human rights complaint process has been such an ongoing challenge for a long time that's had like different evolutions of even getting it translated, getting it on through like,
Yes.
you know, the clerk issue. And then, yeah, we had like got an updated language to just strike the clerk language a while ago, you know, waiting to have the full commission go, oh, okay, we officially approve whatever this. If there's ever something where you're like, hey, I just want to get this moving like you just did now, please bring stuff to us. Especially like a lot of times, like we can just go directly go, hey, city legal, can you draft that? Like you all don't need to like have to do like the most getting all of the legal pieces all in line. Like let us be partners in that. Like you all like, I just know that that can just be such a cumbersome thing as you wait for the next month to talk with everybody.
Yeah, that's great, that's great.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna have to go through legal anyway before we go.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, please don't be a stranger. Is there any other thing you think we should be aware of or policy matter?
No, well, right now, on a side note, outside of human rights, I am working on a documentary called Unheard Voices, Fighting for Her Life, about women who are currently incarcerated for killing their abuser. And right now, we have the Survivors Act as law. However, it's not being enforced the way legislation intended it to be enforced. So the Survivors Act is where people who have suffered for any type of abuse to get after sentencing, so it's post-sentencing, to get a lessened sentence.
Yeah.
And however, the judges are retrying the entire case, denying them, saying things like inconsistency, which they don't know things about trauma and how that works. And so there's been all type of breakdowns in the system, and so the documentary is covering systematic barriers, because what I'm discovering that there's tons of them.
Yeah.
And so we did our first fundraiser event at Circle Cinema on Wednesday, and we had a lot of people from legislators all over Oklahoma attend and talk about how we can tighten up that law as far as the Survivors Act. But no matter what you put in legislation, no matter how you tighten it up, the judges still have to. Right. So then how do you do that? You know, and so that's a whole nother beast of an animal. But those are things that I believe also fall under the various things that I do, so.
Is that, just out of curiosity, because we do have, you know, annual time with state legislators, is that something that, like, maybe you all are through that advocacy of what you're working on, like, being brought back to update the legislation?
Yes.
Because we can always elevate that to our, you know, our state counterparts.
Yes, and that's
Okay.
part of this, is we are trying to update that legislation. One particular lady that that's part of this first episode is going up for her appeal right now. So it's just things like that, where what the law says versus what they actually do. So we are getting with different folks too, and that was the discussion after that. The question and answer is about making that legislation and tighten it up.
Yeah.
Where can we watch the doc?
It's not out yet. I do have the trailer out, and I can send that. That's on YouTube. But I am getting with some people from HBO Max and things like that to get it all together and package, because we want a series, since Oklahoma is top, because I think we've moved to 4, and Ohio is #1 in women incarceration, so we're top, so we're like number 4. And then we are #1 in domestic violence. And so if you look at that, and everybody that's on that Survivors Act that tries to apply, so that's the thing too, not everybody gets to apply. So they pick and choose their favorites. So don't let me get started on that. But there's enough for a series as long as cops or the first 48 hours. That's how many people that are under this.
Good work. Thank you for telling us more about it. All right, anything else? Well, thank you so much for your time and all of your work across spaces. We'll be voting on this on the 10th at the 5 o'clock meeting. You're welcome to attend, but don't have to, but there's always a mic there if you are there.
Okay.
So, just so you know. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, you have more to say.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm shy, so I don't know. Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right. right, we're on agenda item 3, reminder number 6 has been pulled. Item 3, rezoning application Z7858 from OL&RS3 to CG with an optional development plan for property located at the southeast corner of West 49th Street South and South Tacoma Avenue, requested by Anna Sanger. Property owner Brady Residential Properties, Council District 2, Team APC voted unanimously to approve the rezoning with the optional development plan. All right, we have Susan Miller
Hi, good
with the
morning.
planning office.
So this is, I think this was pretty straightforward. You can tell, this is a request to CG, really to reflect an existing business on the side. Go to an aerial. So currently, and the intent is to continue the tree business on the side. So they needed to get to CG in order to have some outside storage. They did voluntarily, they put a optional development plan in the application, just prohibiting some uses that they know that they wouldn't want on the site. We didn't hear from anyone in the area, and that's really about it. Not much to it.
Yeah, I spoke to, well, the attorney didn't answer my call, but I did speak with the owner of the property, and I'm familiar with the property. It's always good to have local owners that pick up their phone when you call, and so I support it.
All right, anything else for anyone? Okay, we are on agenda item 5. We're getting into Main Street stuff. An ordinance adopting the annual assessment role for Kendall Whittier Improvement District Number 1, assessing.
What about 4?
Oh, 4, I'm so sorry, I got so excited to just move on from zoning. I'm sorry, Sam. Number 4, rezoning application, sorry, Wallace Designs, okay, Z7859 from RS1 to IL for property located east of the northeast corner of East Admiral Place and north 177th East Avenue. This is in Council District 6. It was voted unanimously for approval of IL zoning from TMAPC.
So this is about a 3-acre tract in an area that is, at least land use, it's employment, a lot of it's industrial around, as most of you know. There's not a specific intended use on this piece of property for the future. The buyer is, I think he owns some additional industrial property to the east. Like I said, it is employment area. You can see, really, it kind of captures all of that on the south side of 244. And I mean, that's about it as well. We didn't hear from anyone in the area. That's about it.
Okay. Councilor Bengal.
I do not support this. I met with Wallace Design and the property owner. If you'll look, you'll see there's a residential development. Give me directions. Is that to the?
Well, which one are you talking, oh, kind of to the southeast?
Yeah.
That's probably the best.
And because I don't have confidence in the BOA, unfortunately, right now, I tried to get some understanding of what the property owner intended to do with that property in the future. Did he have a plan, or was he rezoning the property specifically for resale? And he was just completely oppositional to any kind of ODP. So unfortunately, unless the residents know what potentially could go there, because like I said, unfortunately, I just don't have confidence in the BOA right now to allow an event center or, something else that potentially the citizens might be oppositional to. I really tried to, I met with even Nathan Foster yesterday, and I think planning also had a meeting and tried to explain why today. I think unfortunately the property owner thought we were targeting his property specifically in this regard, but I explained to him that unfortunately in today's day and age, there's so many different types of developments allowed in that IL, and the ability to go to the BOA for those exceptions and variances, I just wasn't comfortable in supporting a blanket zoning.
Any other?
What is that right next door to it? To the east? Yeah. Is that
It looks like a big parking lot.
industrial?
The east is,
There's a house, if I remember correctly, right next door.
see if this looks better. Yeah, there are oddly scattered homes around, even though that is industrial zoning, so that house is, not not conforming with the industrial zoning, because you can't do that in industrial. If it was starting, no, you can't have a house. If you want to put a house in industrial zoning that doesn't already have one, you can't do that.
So it was there before, obviously.
Right.
So what about the parcel to the east of that one?
So that appears to be, I don't know what the use is specifically, oh, sorry.
It looks like it's.
That
It is.
definitely is an industrial
Yeah.
type of use. And then to west is interesting too, because you do have, you can kind of see the two parcels as
It's a
RS1.
hodgepodge over there.
Yeah, and that's, I think, got a home on it, and then
And ours
the
is
next
like
one over
skipping
has a home
IL
too.
like
Yes.
every
And
other.
residential.
Yeah.
That's why I said, I just didn't feel
RS.
comfortable
Original.
with just approving a blanket zoning
Yeah.
because there was different, like a hodgepodge right in that corridor. And then, of course, the pre-existing subdivision. So if
And
he
they
was
wouldn't
open to the
indicate what-
ODP,
Kind of business they were trying to bring in there, or
they don't have any plans whatsoever.
just trying to
Yeah,
rezone
just want to
to
rezone the
solid or
property,
whatever?
period.
Okay.
You need
Yeah.
a car lot over there.
You actually have a car lot that's sitting in
Or a data
RS zoning.
center.
And you said,
Believe it
Another
or
data
not.
center.
Maybe a
you
tire
said that
shop.
they weren't willing to do an ODP.
No.
Yeah, so this was all, so the zoning has been in place since 1970, so.
The
this has-
residential
The
zoning.
residential zoning, so that's why there's this mixture. Long-term, it was envisioned to be employment something other. So it's one of those areas, it's, you know, we have one on the west side, it's sort of transitioning. We have them in different parts of the city, so.
If he had like a plan, you know,
So you're just gonna stay in conversation?
yeah, if
Do
he's
you want us
willing
to
to.
vote on this, or do you wanna have more time?
My
to-
understanding from the conversation
it?
I had with Nathan is he just wasn't open to this at all, in any kind of ODP whatsoever.
Not
we
based
just-
in the applicant.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
conflict.
Nathan plus,
So
yeah,
so
sorry.
he would prefer we take a vote and then
Correct.
potentially start
That's
over
my
again?
understanding is he
Okay.
was
Well,
willing
we
to
can give
just,
an option.
To just play it
But-
out. Okay.
All right, well, we don't vote until the
Yeah.
17th, so
Yeah.
maybe
Maybe
after this conversation, new conversations will start.
yeah. And I told him there was no intentionality on my part to target him specifically. It was just that I was concerned about the
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
Yeah, I think this has been a
Would be
pretty
concerned.
consistent policy position of yours across properties, so,
Yep.
like, you're right, it's not.
I've been trying to be consistent.
Yeah,
That's all we can do.
yeah, did you?
No, Lori had her hand
Oh,
up.
I'm so sorry, yeah, Lori.
Well, I just wanted to point out that the vote for the application will be next week on the 10th.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I missed.
Oh, the vote and then the final, okay.
What's
Thank
on
you
the
for-
17th then?
That's the
Ordinance.
ordinance.
The ordinance
Is
after.
that
follow
the
it.
TMAPC?
No?
No, it's the whole, like, we vote for
Yeah,
the
I know.
rezone and then we vote for the
They already
ordinance.
voted.
But, I mean, the 10th?
No, the 10th is we vote for the
Okay,
rezone.
sorry.
And then the following week. It's okay, I feel like these always trip us up because instead of the usual
Well, it would be
ordinance.
helpful for the public if it was maybe more articulated here. I was just amplifying.
Yeah.
So for public, if they want to speak on it
But
either
to
way
me,
and
it's
have
really
meaningful input, they either
Should the
need to
10th,
come
yeah.
on they need to come on the 10th or send an email before
Yeah, the
then.
10th is the one that's most.
Many, many times they come on the second date,
Right, when
and
it's.
then it's already done.
Did
Already
anyone speak
approved.
against it at TMAPC?
No, we didn't have anyone
Okay.
visit, yeah.
Which I know it's not taxable to a lot of. Okay,
But neighbors either way.
yeah.
Did neighbors in that subdivision you
I
referring
don't think
to?
they were within the
300 feet?
notification
No, that,
requirement.
that wouldn't be within 300 feet.
Yeah, I didn't think
No.
so, so
Yeah.
I don't even know.
There's, you know, a yellow zoning sign, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, which I can understand from your perspective that if it's an event center, then the footprint becomes much bigger, yeah. Okay, well, it sounds like we're on to a next step there, we'll see what happens. Now for item 5 that I apparently was so eager to get to before, assessment role for Kendall Whittier. The parameters of it are Lewis Avenue corridor between East Archer and East Sixth Street South and along East Admiral Boulevard between Yorktown and Avenue and Birmingham Avenue for the purpose of providing improvements and services set forth in a whole statute section, providing time and method of payment of said assessments and penalty for non-payment. And we have, and let me know, so I guess this one could be on its own and then we could do the other ones that are like kind of all together. Okay, we have Sam Extens with us to talk about this one.
Yes, so this is the ordinance renewing the Kendall Whittier Improvement District. This is in its sunset year, so it officially ends June of 2027. Just as a reminder, the assessments come in at roughly under $48,000 annually. that pays for landscaping and trash removal services, some security, beautification, and then improvements to lighting and the parking lot area of Whittier Square, and then a small portion for administration, mainly for renewing, insurance and other mailings and things, informing people about what's going on. The public hearing for anyone that wants to speak in support or against renewing the bid for the final year will be on June 10th at the 5 o'clock meeting, so please attend if you would like to have your voice heard on that. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Counselor Bennett?
Yeah, so, in order to include the northern portion of Kendall Whittier, does that need to be included in the Main Street?
So the bid map and the boundary of the bid and the assessments and the district boundary are different, and they can be different. They really elect to create a boundary map for the bid where there's a lot of occupancy. So it doesn't really work if there's a high level of vacancy in a part of the corridor, and so that's why it doesn't stretch as far north, because there's not as much occupancy, and the desire was not to burden property owners with an additional assessment if they're trying to refurbish their buildings. That said, it does stretch further north than the previous improvement district boundary.
I saw it by a block.
It adjusted, yeah, so it moved from the southern boundary, which used to go to 11th Street, took that part out because they saw that area as having enough services and financial support, and shifted it further north.
What's the vacancy rate differential?
I don't have that offhand, but I can get that for you.
Okay, I would actually be interested, because I know that the northern side of Kendall Whittier has actually populated substantially
Yeah.
in the last 8 years.
But by not having the boundary go north, it unburdens that side of
Like
the
they want
to
neighborhood
pay
to
into
grow.
I get it. I just wonder though.
But they would get the
Yeah.
services though? Is that what you're kind of saying? They would get the benefit in addition to having to pay? Okay.
Yes, they would get the benefit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, that's,
It's a balance. You always try to be very thoughtful about, do the benefits outweigh the burden of paying an additional assessment? And everyone who came together, kind of assessing that formula, thought that it would be an undue burden.
Okay.
Counselor Dector?
Thank
Thank you. Just historic Greenwood neighborhood goes from Lewis to Utica, 11th Street, all the way north to Dawson
Yeah.
Road.
That's true.
Now we know 11th to 6th now is
Kendall Whittier.
Sorry, historic Kendall Whittier.
Yeah.
Historic Kendall. I was looking at green over here.
Greenwood's taking over.
Historic Kendall Whittier as a neighborhood,
Yes.
not a
Not
business district
Yeah.
or.
Right.
So that 11th to 6th Street now is the Market District, which is in historic Kendall Whittier. So this 6th Street designation's interesting, and I wonder if eventually it's gonna creep to 3rd. And to your point, if we're going to develop, we need to focus
Well, you also have like
north
rural
of
districts.
244 all the way to Dawson.
Right. Without 244, we wouldn't have that.
Of course, and over the years,
Delineation.
we've talked about capping 244 and doing all manner of land bridge and,
Yeah, it's out there.
so certainly investment has to continue, but for this, bid, I think they really just concentrate on the Main Street
Yeah.
defined Chamber of Commerce, let's call it, very hyper-local. So obviously it can adjust as things on the north side fill in, and it wouldn't be a burden. But I don't know what happened to there was like around 2020, there were conversations about capping Kendall Whittier to reconnect
Yeah.
and taking down the highway in Greenwood to reconnect. I think during
Yeah.
that national movement of, reconnecting neighborhoods that have been historically harmed by. So I don't know we were in a conversation with state and federal partners, but I don't know
I
where
think,
that all ended
well, I
up.
feel like so much of those federal infrastructure dollars are gone.
Right, it was the election, right?
Stuff out there.
Yeah.
And the local folks that were working on it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
And if I could add to the current board of the bid, in renewing it as a new bid, so this will sunset as it is. They want to expand the boundary map, so that way they extend further west and east and also further north. So, the Main Street has done a lot in expanding their services further north, and I can't wait to tell you about all the things they've installed, particularly in the northern part of the corridor, and they're wanting that bid to kind of serve as that maintenance, bucket for those projects.
Great.
So,
That's exciting. Anything else on this item? Okay, we are now on items 7 through 12, which are resolutions supporting the participation of the following main streets in the 2026-2027 Oklahoma Main Street Center, with the goal of revitalizing the following districts that include Historic Greenwood District Main Street, Kendall Whittier Main Street, East Tulsa Main Street, Tulsa Route 66 Main Street, Pearl Main Street, and Sobo Business District Main Street.
all right.
I'll just, go ahead.
Me again?
Main Streets.
Yeah, Main Streets. So as part of the renewal of our 4 existing Main Streets, I provide this report every year, and we're gonna go through that. And then I'm excited to tell you about the 2 proposed new Main Streets. Okay, so digging right in. So just a reminder, the program began in 2019. The Destination Districts program's goal is to create vibrant places where people want to be. I also like to think that it contributes to our overall goal as a city. All of the mayor's goals all kind of wrap into our places being connected, where people feel deeply rooted and proud, and of course increasing tourism and economic development. So just as a reminder, those 4 existing Main Streets are Tulsa Route 66 Main Street on the west side, the Greenwood District, the Kendall Whittier Main Street, and then the Global District. This year, we had a really exciting event come to Tulsa in April. We hosted the National Main Street Conference, and I'm really proud to say that we had over 2,000 attendees. So coming from all over the U.S. and some from even farther than that. I think we had someone from Japan come, and it resulted in just over $4 million in direct economic impact for our city for just that conference, which is really exciting. And then, of course, we're going to dive right into the last year of each of the Main Streets and what they've accomplished. So Route 66 Main Street, just as a reminder, our oldest Main Street, established in 2007. It's in Council District 2. And their executive director is Teresa Flouché. Their reinvestment number, so they saw just over $1.5 million in reinvestment last year, over 457 for their program to date. They logged over 2,900 hours in volunteer service, over 35,000 to date. They had 6 building rehabilitations, so 142 to date. 3 new businesses opened on their corridor, 105 since they started. And now some fun highlights. So they were awarded an Oklahoma Main Street Incentive Program Award for $125,000, and they raised an additional $125,000 from the community to complete the 66-foot tall dinosaur roadside attraction. They completed an ARP Community Challenge grant that they were awarded. They worked together with Parks on this and extended a trail in Howard Park. And that will help make the roadside attraction more accessible to all. They've led several beautification projects and cleanups. I have to really give them a shout out. I think they have organized more cleanups than any other Main Street. They consistently do that every year. They're always out there cleaning up, picking up trash, mowing, planting things. It's really incredible to see just all the volunteer energy that they have. And then they've continued fundraising through their East Meets West Gala that happens every November. Up next for them, really the implementation of that dinosaur roadside attraction that's coming in the fall. I'll absolutely let you all know when we have a date for that. But the fiberglass is being constructed right now. The concrete pad that it will rest on is already built and in place. And we are in the process of ordering the steel and other things needed for the internal mechanism supporting the fiberglass. They are installing some district wayfinding signage. Those are, as a reminder, are those round signs with additional wayfinding blades. They are hosting 2 Levitt Block concerts. One just happened this past weekend as part of the Capitol Cruise. I think they had over 1,000 attendees at their conference, or their concert. And then there will be one in Howard Park later in September. They're gonna be working with us at the city on the Red Fork Streetscape project that was approved in IoT 3. And they are going to be undergoing a National Main Street Transformation Strategy update. So, National Main Street will come in, they will do kind of a strategic plan. They meet with stakeholders, they do site visits, and so they're up for an update to their existing one. So this is a reminder of what that dinosaur is gonna look like. They've picked seafoam green, so that color isn't exactly right, so it'll be a little brighter and a little more poppier, which is really exciting. And then these are what their district wayfinding signs are gonna look like. And their blades are gonna point to public attractions and amenities, so parks and murals and things like that. Next up, Kendall Whittier Main Street, established in 2010. They are in council districts 1, 3, and 4. Their executive director position is currently vacant. They're actually hiring and doing interviewing right now. They expect to have a director hired very soon. And their reinvestment numbers for the last year, so just over 300,000 in investment, 176 million to date. They logged 2,900 volunteer hours, 2,300 to date. They saw 25 building rehabilitations just last year, 225 to date. I think they lead in, out of all 4 main streets in building rehabilitations, which is really excellent. They had 3 new businesses open, 119 to date, and some highlights from them. So I've got to brag on them. They were the first ones to participate in the Oklahoma Main Street Incentive Program, and I can't wait to show you pictures of some of those projects. They also applied again for this calendar year, and they were awarded the maximum amount, so a total of $300,000. So 125 of that coming from or 150 of that coming from the state, and 150 in community match. That's going to be for public art, placemaking, and some beautification projects. They supported businesses during the construction project at Lewis and Admiral. And they launched a Coffee Before Business series so they could increase collaboration and connection among business and property owners. Up next for them is really implementing those Main Street Incentive Program projects, which is bike racks, some public art, some landscaping around a sculpture they built last year, continuing expansion of their Main Street services further north in their district, their Levitt Block concert in Kendall Whittier Park, and of course, hiring a new director. So some of their incentive program projects from last year, they added these beautiful neon lighting accents to Whittier Square. They also in the corner, it's kind of hard to see here, but they added a neon Route 66 shield. They really wanted to do this as a centennial project and really honor the fact that they're on the original alignment of Route 66 in Tulsa. They also built commissioned to build a beautiful statue, and this is called Folklorico. It's by Chris Wallard, who's a local artist. And it's really meant to emulate the Folklorico dancers' skirts as they're moving when they're dancing. So you can move through this sculpture. The white pieces you see in the middle are mesh, so they're very durable, easy to clean. And this is just south of the library, so if you're wanting to see it in person, then enjoy it, or dance right underneath it, you can do that. And the incentive program projects for this year that they're working through are actually going to include some really thoughtful landscaping around this sculpture. So we're really excited for that, and they're working on that currently. Another thing that they worked on was wrapping their traffic control boxes. So they have 8 throughout their district that they wrapped with beautiful, colorful art by local artists. They did a very good job of engaging the community, asking questions, and really wanting to work with artists that had a connection to the district in some fashion, particularly because they're such an arts district. Another big project that they implemented were these 4 gateway markers. And there are some north, which is really lovely. This was designed again by a local artist, Hightail Creative. And the shape of it is really interesting. It's actually the space between the K and the W if you put them together. So there are a lot of really thoughtful intention behind the design of this. And they're up, and it marks the district and lets everybody know where they are. And they're beautiful and artful. And then these are their wayfinding sign blades. Again, those circular toppers. And those are going to be going up very soon. And they're, of course, in English and Spanish, right here on the same sign. All right, Greenwood. Established in 2020, they're in Council District 1. Their executive director is Berlindo Radney. And last year they saw just over 1.1 million in private reinvestment, about over 29 million to date. They logged 400 volunteer hours, just over 2,000 to date. They had 1 building rehab, 119 total since they began. 4 new businesses open, 20 to date, and then some program highlights from Greenwood. Of course, they hired Berlinda Radney as their new executive director. We're so happy to have her on board. They led, and I have to underscore this with 6 lines. They led the application for the Levitt Family Foundation grant, which secured 3 years of funding for free live concerts in 5 districts. So not just them, but 5 districts. So all 4 of our main streets and one of our emerging districts, the Phoenix district, which is in Council District 1. That's a really big deal. It was a national grant. It was very competitive. We had several rounds we had to go through. We had to do public voting, and I'm really proud to say that we represented well, and the grantors were really excited to meet us, and when we met them, they knew absolutely everything about our grant application. It was weird to have stuff you wrote quoted back to you in person.
Counselor Bengal and I got to visit with them during the conference.
Good, good, yeah.
Maybe I visited a little bit more than Counselor Bengal.
Yeah, and
We
we're
kind of nerded out about music.
You did. I was like, boy, I'm not gonna get a word in here.
Yeah, so that's really exciting, and we've seen 2 of those concerts already, and there's more to come, so it's really exciting. They also relocated their Main Street office to Gem at Moton, and so I'm really excited that they're going to be in that space with a lot of other nonprofits and organizations that are kind of creating this hub for entrepreneurship in Greenwood. It's really great, and we've seen a lot of kind of similar activity with the Global District in Hannah Hall and having a lot of nonprofits kind of in one spot, so I'm really excited for that. They also, and again I'm going to underscore this 6 times, they organized the inaugural Cultural Districts Mixer at the Main Street Now conference, and they did that in collaboration with Hands. That had never been done before, so that was really incredible that they were leading the charge there. What's next for them? Just executing those Levitt Block concerts in B.S. Roberts Park, and then the implementation of their B.S. Roberts Park mini master plan, and that includes a plan for new playground equipment, so very exciting stuff there. And then the Global District, established in 2020, they are in Council Districts 5 and 6, and their executive director is Alejandro Garcia. Their reinvestment numbers, just over 1.5 million in private reinvestment last year, a little over 12 million to date, logged 656 volunteer hours, a little over 3,000 hours total to date. 13 building rehabs last year, that's really great, that increased from previous years, 31 to date. They had 32 businesses open, 45 to date, and now some program highlights from them. So they completed the 21st Street Underpass mural. They were awarded a Oklahoma Main Street Incentive Program, just a little over $73,000 to install their own district gateways, so more of those beautiful, artful gateways to come. They hosted, and I'm going to underscore this 6 times, they hosted the first parade in East Tulsa in September. La Fiesta de Tulsa. I encourage you all to put that on your calendar for September this year. It was really incredible. The parade went through a neighborhood, which I think was super unique, and it was really lovely. And thank you to all the counselors who participated and walked in that. It was just such an incredible milestone and achievement for them. They've never done a parade before, and I thought that was just fabulous.
It was a lot of fun.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
That's, September 16th is your Independence Day. So that's what the parade was about. So it's really great.
And then they've continued, of course, all their small business support through their many programs, Connect Local and Grow Global, and then, of course, their entrepreneurship showcase series. So what's next for them? Installing those gateway markers, installing their own art-wrapped traffic control boxes that are gonna have a music component, which is very cool.
Love those designs.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
They're retro and modern.
Mm-hmm. And then they also have 2 Levitt block concerts. They already had one as part of their night market. And then their next one will be in September in conjunction with that parade. And then the implementation of their semi-permanent placemaking activation at Nam High. And just some pictures to show you. This was the unveiling of the 21st Street underpass, which is a really wonderful gateway in itself, very colorful and beautiful. I encourage you to check that out.
And Counselor Gilbert's wearing a really great outfit. Just fine.
As
It's a
always.
It's a good picture.
I feel like you're wearing the same color scheme today.
Exactly, yep, black and blue.
Just had to highlight that on the record.
And then, of course, they also installed these decorative bike racks and signage.
Yeah,
That's
those
called
are
the
really
Dragon
cool.
Trail, so encouraging people to bike
Yep.
around the district safely. And then this is one of the art wrap beat boxes that is gonna go on the traffic control box. Again, they worked with local artists to create the artwork, and then similarly, each box will have a QR code on it that's kind of facing the pedestrian side of the street for people to scan, and it will play a local musician's song. So the artwork is informed by the music, and all of it is local, all of it really highlighting our homegrown talent here in Tulsa. So we love seeing projects like this.
Yeah, it's cool.
Some highlights just from the Destination Districts program from the last year. So we organized and held our 3rd annual retreat event, and that's open to not only our main streets and emerging districts, but also neighborhood associations and anyone who wants to learn more about tools and resources and information about commercial revitalization in the city. So get that on your calendar. It's usually in February or March, depending on the weather. We obviously hosted the Main Street Conference, still very proud of that. We provided emerging district support and technical assistance to 10 potential districts. We began the Riverwood Neighborhood Improvement Strategy implementation. We actually just completed a grant application to Love Your Block. So fingers crossed that we received that grant so we can continue doing even more in the area. And then 3 districts are installing distinction heritage signs. So that's really exciting. So what's next for the program? Onboarding 2 new main streets pending approval, and the launch of a district guide. So really kind of a startup guide for those who are starting to think about maybe organizing a district in their area, providing them with a tool that they can use. Wanted to give you some updates from 2 emerging districts. So the Phoenix district really worked hard to beautify the Osage Prairie Trailhead where that beautiful statue is. So they have added some benches, trash cans, and a little library. Special thanks to Parks for their partnership on that and allowing them to do that. And then the Meadow Gold District, they applied for their very first grant for an AARP grant, and they got it. I was so proud of them. That's such a hard grant to get. Again, another national grant. And we had 2 awardees this last round, so very proud of both of them. But theirs were for signage, for interpretive plaques, for banners, and planters. So you can kind of see some of those things in the pictures there.
And cute puppy dogs.
And a really cute puppy. Yeah, there were other pictures of the planters, but the dog just kind of made that picture.
Cats
even
weren't
better.
available.
Cats were not available, so sorry.
Bring yours out there.
Those planters look like the ones that, those aren't the same ones as before?
They are, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They just went that far
They
down.
just really
Yeah.
spruced them up.
Yeah.
They put the little trees
Yep.
in and they
look
scrubbed
good.
them. Yep.
Okay.
They did a great job,
Yeah,
plus the
Thank you.
puppy dog.
yeah, plus the puppy dog. Yeah. All right, now to our two new proposed main streets. So I've been working with both of these boards for over a year, well over a year. The first one is the Pearl District. So if they are approved, they'll be established July 1 of this year. They would be in council districts 1 and 4. They actually already have an executive director identified who would be ready to start on July 1st, Matt Sanders. And I'll say Matt and I'll mention that later, never mind. So they evolved from a neighborhood association into a more commercially focused group. And so they kind of branched off because there was more goals and things that they wanted to tackle than just fit in a traditional neighborhood association. And so they've branched out, but they definitely have support from their neighborhood association. They are very interested in activating the vacant lots in their district, resolving issues with absentee property owners and vacant buildings, and placemaking just in general. So very excited. They really want to take advantage of the Oklahoma Main Street Incentive Program. They already have projects they're kind of outlining. They're going to certainly keep me even more busy than I am now, which I love. So, and then you can kind of see their rough boundary here. That really gets finalized through the contracting with both the city and the Oklahoma Main Street, which only happens if they're approved by our body. So. And then the next one is the SoBo District, or South Boston District. Again, if established, they would begin July 1 of this year. Would be in Council District 4. Their executive director is Tanya Kearney. Tanya is actually already hired and already doing this work for them. It is, her salary is actually paid for by one of their board members, so they're already kind of putting money into their district, which is always very encouraging to see. I will say both Matt and Tanya attended the entire Main Street Conference in April, well before even they know if they're going to officially be in Main Street. Again, very encouraging that they are really digging into that training and taking advantage of those opportunities. But the SoBo District is very interested in infrastructure projects, in beautification, and continued collective promotion and marketing of the district. They are also very, very interested in taking advantage of the incentive program from the state. And they evolved from a business and property association. And you can kind of see their rough boundaries there as well. Again, those boundaries are really certified and officiated through their contracts. So, but that's kind of where we're looking at.
You had a question for Councilman?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll keep going. So funding, we actually have $218,000 for designating new main streets. That's not part of the general fund. So adding both of these this year would not require a line item out of the general budget. And we would designate that funding for the first 2 years. So really, it would be needing funding for that third year and beyond, so that recurring funding for fiscal year 28 and beyond. And that, just as a reminder, for each Main Street, they receive $45,000 annually. And the reason for that is it offers stability. So each of them has a full-time executive director. $45,000 does not cover that salary, but it's a big chunk of it that they can count on. The other thing that it does is it lends them credibility, and it ensures and attracts private sector investment. Many people ask, well, what's the city's investment in this program? Why should I give you my money if the city's not going to also contribute? So that it lends them more credibility in making those private asks. And then lastly, maybe even most importantly, it maintains compliance with national and state Main Street requirement that participating cities with Main Streets fund them in some capacity. They don't tell you how much you have to fund them, but they say you must fund them in some capacity to be a participant. So what, you might ask, is our return on investment for these Main Streets? Well, just for these 4, if we tally up the numbers, so from last year, that's a little over 4.5 million in private reinvestment in our 4 Main Streets, or to date, a little over 675 million. The volunteer hours logged just for last year are a little under 7,000 hours, and a little, 64,000 to date. That's a lot of people out in our community cleaning things up, sprucing up our communities, creating events for people to attend that are free, supporting our businesses. 45 building rehabilitations in the last year, 517 to date. Many of our Main Streets have facade grant programs that businesses within those areas can apply for and receive. They also help, the boards and the executive directors help businesses in their districts apply for national and state level programs and grants and awards so that they can rehab their building, particularly for historic preservation. And those grants are very difficult and long and complicated, and so having someone help you walk through that is really needed. 42 new businesses in those districts last year, and 289 to date for all programs. Many of them are actively recruiting businesses, helping retain local businesses. I can't underscore how important this was during the pandemic. Kendall Whittier Main Street won the Great American Main Street Award, in part because of their pandemic response and support for businesses. They helped every single business that asked them, and even some that didn't, with applying for ARPA, applying for PPE, figuring out how to get equipment, figuring out how to pivot their business from brewing, beer to suddenly brewing, hand sanitizer. And that's not an easy thing to do. And it really requires somebody who knows those people and sees them all the time. So,
I'd like smelling hands.
if we look at the percentage, so the ROI for 2025 is just over 2,000%. If we look at it to date, it's 31,000%. So that's, to me, that's a really great number. But beyond that, if we just look at the incentive program, which is an annual recurring program, every single Main Street that we have can apply for this every single year, and if they max it out, that means we would have 1.8 million annually coming into Tulsa for public realm projects. And that could be things like fixing sidewalks, fixing lights, doing these beautiful projects like adding public art and maintaining things that we need to fix. Not to mention the countless grants that are available only to Main Streets, or where we get a leg up because we're in Main Street. The grant application is looked at a little more favorably than if we weren't. All right, I'm done talking at you. Please ask questions.
Okay, I have Counselor Hallharper and then Dr. Wright.
So you mentioned the Phoenix District in your presentation, but I don't see them. Are they a Main Street?
They're an emerging district, so they're not.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, so an emerging district is kind of working through their organization, so they're figuring out what structure they ultimately want. Not every district feels that Main Street as a model is the model that they want to adopt. Main Street as a model is pretty strict in what it requires you to do, and not everybody wants to do those specific four pillars of work. Yeah, exactly.
So this is how I describe it, and tell me if I'm wrong. So Tulsa, we have a destination district program. The Main Street model is a tool that we use. So is it safe to say then that the Phoenix District and the other one that you mentioned, that you send emerging districts, they are a part of our destination district? program with the
Yes.
city? They're
Mhm.
just not, they haven't yet applied or decided if they're going to apply to be a Main Street.
Correct.
Okay.
And they may not decide. So the only
Right.
support they're
Mhm.
now receiving,
Mhm.
is not financial, but it's staff time. So it's having a liaison
Resources.
myself to ask questions. And then it's also having technical assistance. So when they apply for grants, I'm happy to help them apply for those, look over applications, connect them with resources.
Parks,
Parks.
when they're doing certain
exactly.
activities and things
Yeah.
they do? Okay.
Counselor Becker,
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you, Samantha. You've really grown this program from what it was
Mhm.
envisioned.
Yeah.
I saw Ed up there with Phoenix District. He has his, Ed Shar has his fingers on the program, on
Reputation.
Kendall Whittier. Yeah, so, to Counselor Hall Harper's point, locally, our destination district is not limited. And for counselors, it's important, I think, to think about those parts, like, of your districts that maybe would be an emerging one down the line. I love what you shared about
A
Sobo.
destination district.
your
Or-
destination versus Main Street.
Yeah, they don't have to go through the main street, and there's some things that won't even qualify, but that doesn't mean they're not qualified as a great
Destination.
place for Tulsans and visitors to Tulsa to want to activate around. And it is going to take community members, right, to start that, and that's what you see in Sobo. All that investment in south of Boston, or south of 18th Street, kind of had business owners going, hey, let's do more, let's get together. How do we do that? We need to meet. So it is kind of like a homeowners association type thing, but it's businesses. And we've seen that in Brookside for a long time, Cherry Street. So there's already like a history of this happening in our city, and now it's just got a name and a lot of support from a very qualified
City's
person.
helping.
Yeah. So I would just I mean, I think Counselor Lakin and I talk about how maybe our part of town will never have a destination district designation, although people come from all
Someday.
over the region and state to our part of town to shop. So it's just
Vacant land.
it's just to have these. Hey, why not with Bartlett
We
Square?
need to get the trademark on that real
There you
quick.
go.
Bartlett Square.
Right at Memorial to the west.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm thinking Districts 2, District 3, certainly more in District 6, probably District 5 too, might have some. So just dream big with your business owners, and sometimes it helps to just bring a convening together. And that's how you can kind of show up in that space for them, and then hopefully they connect to each other. I know that the Sobo folk have really been working with Counselor Bellis and myself. Full disclosure, Tulsa Opera sits in that footprint, so, especially with all the park investment that's coming, we do think, that's the gateway to, the gathering place and just, reimagination happening there. Is Cathedral District organizing anything?
They're not, they're pretty dormant, but they're
Okay.
still on my radar if
Yeah.
they re-engage.
I
So I go at the speed that the community wants to
The
go.
members,
So if
yeah.
they wanna go fast, we go fast. If they
Okay.
wanna take it slow, that's how we go.
I just had a lot of visitors over the weekend here, obviously, for Route 66, but a lot of people were asking me about Cathedral District specifically.
There's a lot of organizing there where there's, more coordination across the different churches
Yeah.
and working on like those housing projects or what to do with all the parking lots. And I think maybe once that
Well,
gets
the
further along.
conversions, right?
Yeah,
There's some
exactly.
conversions coming. So, yeah, just
Yeah.
visitors to our community were like, these buildings are amazing and what's happening? And I'm like, I think there's
There's a
stuff,
lot.
but I
It's
wasn't
it's
sure.
coming.
And I wanted to just also give props to the Meadow Gold District with the QR codes and everything, and props to Jeannie Q, who I hope's watching today, because we know she was on that QR code. She was an early adopter of the QR code technology, but how cool to, for the Meadow District to have all their giants and stuff this week. And I just, again, heard from so many visitors that were just blown away that a city of our size could be so intentional in how we're activating different corridors. And there was little pockets of different flavors throughout the city, and people have been bragging to me about the Arts District and Blue Dome, so, and certainly Greenwood, so it,
You sure it was Greenwood?
I'm positive it was Greenwood. So, anyway, thank you, Samantha. Also, thank you, Samantha.
Thank you for being human.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I do make a mistake once a year.
Oh, my.
Everyone clock this one.
So-
Clock it.
Yeah, write it down. The Main Street Conference being in Tulsa too was incredible, and the number
Yes.
of experts in that space that were in our space if you all got to engage with them. I just thought that was so cool, and I don't know how often we get to have them back, but I got a lot of ideas from a lot of those visitors.
Yeah.
So what was the other emerging district?
Pearl District.
Yeah, the
Pearl.
two new proposed are Sobo and Pearl.
No, there was
Oh.
another one.
the other emerging one.
Emerging districts, see, I gotta
Phoenix.
understand
I got
the
eight, and you all didn't
differentiation.
ask me.
So Pearl and Sobo is the new main
One's
streets,
Phoenix
but.
Yeah,
and
new main
Phoenix.
streets.
And Meadow Gold.
Yeah.
Coming out. So
Meadow
we
Gold
have
District, okay.
Phoenix
That's
District.
the ones I was talking about.
Yeah.
emerging.
They're in Council District 1, Meadow Gold, which is in Council District 4,
Yeah.
Pearl.
Riverwood in Council Districts
What-
2 and 9.
What was it?
Riverwood,
Riverwood.
yep.
Right.
The,
Versus Peoria.
60%
Yeah.
area.
the Tulsa Market District, which is in Council District 4,
Market District?
11th and lowest.
yep. The Apache Arts District in District 1,
Apache
by the
Arts.
ballroom.
See, I
Big
didn't even,
Tent.
I didn't even know about that one.
They are babies still. We're getting there.
Okay,
They're baby
that's cool.
steps.
But maybe
Yeah,
the
it's
counselor whose
really great.
district
Yeah, I
it's
would
in
like to
should-
know.
Yeah.
So you said, ballroom?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's Dr. Shaw.
Yes.
Okay, I
Yep,
just-
working with him. Riverbend Arts District in Council District 4, Studio Row in Council District 1, and the Garden District in Council District 4. And they're all at varying stages, so some of them haven't reached out.
Apache, Riverbend, Studio Row, and what was the other one?
Garden.
Garden. Where's that?
District 4.
That is around the Philbrook area.
Oh, the garden. I see.
That's
Like the
cool.
Rose Garden and everything. Is
Yeah.
there a place where these are all listed?
Yeah,
like
can we get a report
online,
on
or-
that?
They're not yet.
Okay.
Again, because they're all at varying stages
Right.
of like readiness to kind of, some of them have done more community engagement than others.
Yeah.
Those of you that don't have a ton, please again encourage your community members to reach out, but also organize.
If there's some handouts or
Yeah,
that we can
yeah.
share with
I do.
people,
I've
say,
got-
hey, this is what we got going on.
I'll
in
send you
various
all.
areas, neighborhoods, or whatever. So let us know.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely want to know those that are emerging or ideating or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
In my district, because I want to be able to support them. as much as I can.
And I just wanted to add in that I'm really excited about the Pearl District one kicking off. That's just a neighborhood that's like, keeps, or just an area that keeps almost coming together and then has its challenges. There's been funds in the past because of those flooding issues, but then those have ended up in other places. It's so proximal to so many other
It's a link.
critical things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the right spot, but it just has challenges and I think really needs this extra push. And there's been so many people putting energy into it. It just needs a little bit more of that structured support to really take off, so.
I have a question about funding, now that you bring that up, Counselor. So I know there's Main Street funds from grants, and there's Destination District funds. I remember a couple years ago, I think on the budget vote day, we were kibitzing about $20,000 one way or another. So at some point, is there going to be a conversation around investment as we expand and grow, right? The same $80,000 is not gonna go as far.
No.
So, is that something you all are working on?
Yeah, I'm trying to like identify what type of recurring fund would make sense and
Well, we
where
have a
we
lodging
can-
tax coming,
Yeah,
which is
that's
why I
true.
bring that up. So, anyway, obviously, there's a
True.
great
And it
ROI
connects.
and,
Yeah.
a dedicated fund, even, they've done so much with $80,000 a year, not counting like your salary and all of those things. I don't think this is just out into those,
Yeah.
groups, but something we should think about.
I thought it was 45.
Is it
for Main
80, was it
Street?
80 total?
45.
It's 45
45
for each.
times 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 80 for a while.
I wish.
Yeah, no, per district. I
They
know we,
first, when they first start, the
Yes.
first year,
Which
but
is
then
so
you
glad,
go down.
yeah, and then I'm glad you had that ROI about how much the
Yeah,
return comes
yeah.
back, and it's huge.
but we, I think as a collective,
Yeah, we have to.
could also have a reoccurring source.
Correct.
Because there was times in the recent past in the budget, on the day of the budget vote, we were making motions to
Oh, yeah.
add dollars.
Because it used to be 50. and it-
That's
it
right.
dropped to 5.
That's
45.
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
As a last
I think that's a
note,
good idea.
that is a good
I have one every year.
Okay, so does everyone have on the record that Counselor Dr. Wright has one mistake a year and one
And
good
one
idea a
good-
year?
one good idea.
That's where you're capped.
The good
I've
idea
met my
is
quota
not
right in this
Also,
10-minute.
as a last
timeframe.
thing, and I'm just bringing this up for my council in Beth, because this has been a passionate topic. I hope through this Pearl District element, we find out the truth about the red clock at the park right there. I've had one city official say it's only ever been decorative. I have another say that they know it can function as a real clock. We don't know.
It'd be lightning rod.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
1.1 gigawatts.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a Back to the Future situation. But anyway, if anyone knows or has evidence on if that clock is more than decorative, we do wanna know.
Gigawatts.
Say those two in one day.
All right, anything?
A good idea and a mistake.
Yeah, again, if anyone has any information about the clock, we would like to know. All right, anything else from questions or anything else from Sam? All right, well,
Thank you,
with
Sam.
that,
Thanks,
we are
Sam.
on item 13. Thank you so much, Sam. We are adjourned.